I guess.
Kansas, you're always going to be the hunted and you're in first place, but I'm sure, you're able to spin this to your kids that they're the returning national champs and therefore you can kind of be the hunter of them.
Well, yeah, I haven't used those terms, but that's not bad. They obviously have been the standard in our league last year and really, I think thus far this year. I think they've had the best year of anybody in our league thus far. Even though I think we have the same number of losses, same identical record, if I'm not mistaken. But I do think that, with what Scott and his staff and players have done, certainly, should be looked at in that regard. And we're looking forward to them coming to our place tomorrow, and I'm sure they're looking really forward to the game as well. And it'll be a big game and probably have a lot to do with, conference standings at least through the midway point. But in our league, who would have ever thought that Baylor could lose 2 home games? Who would have ever thought that teams in our league could be 500 that were predicted to be maybe higher? And who would ever thought that you have teams that were predicted to be 9th or 10th be ranked in top 20 at this point in time during the season? So, what happens in one game here certainly doesn't mean much or definitely emphasizes everything concerning our league race. It's way too early for that.
What do you think of Ochai's chances of playing tomorrow, and how does he feel? We were told that he passed the protocol.
Yeah, Ochai tested negative today, so he's out of the COVID protocol, so to speak. So he can, as long as he feels up to it, which I would certainly assume he would, he can participate moving forward with what we're doing. So I'm excited about that, obviously, and I know he is, and our teammates will be as well.
Have you practiced yet?
No, we practice at 3:00 today.
Can he go?
In practice? Yes.
The game the other night, obviously you won that without him. I mean, are there long-term things that can carry over to that, even getting him back so quickly? I mean, it's such a small sample size of having to have played without him, but
I don't know if I look at it like that. I look at it like we can still win if he doesn't play great. He's still going to play regardless, but I do think if it gives me anything, it or gives us anything, it's the fact that we've seen what it can look like when Joseph gets an opportunity to play. And athletically, you guys saw it. He obviously made a difference out there. So I think that was a big positive.
Yeah, you said that the other night. He's got to play more. How do you do that? I mean, is it just a matter of let's go?
I think it'll be easier now to play guys more as when Remy's not playing. So if Remy was 100% healthy, those opportunities probably wouldn't be as many as they are now. So I think that has a lot to do with it. But he showed the other night that even without really shooting the ball, he went 2 for 7, if I'm not mistaken, but even without shooting the ball, he can still impact our team in a very, very big way, which he did the other night.
And also in terms of kind of opportunity there, we didn't ask you the other night, but J. Cole, the hand or finger, did that linger at all? Is he hurt? Or?
He'll play. Okay. Yeah, he'll play. He fell on both wrists. He took off 16 feet at full speed and tried to run over a 7-footer. That weighs about 260, 270. So it probably wasn't the brightest play. And then when he landed on both wrists like this. So I think his left one got nicked up a little bit more than his right one. But he practiced yesterday. He may not be 100%, but he's capable of playing.
Bill, to get back to Matt's point a little bit, when you look at a guy like Joe, you've certainly seen him in practice, you know what he can do, but then you see him in a game and performance like that. How do you find really the balance between evaluating what you see on practice versus a game situation when you want to give somebody an opportunity?
Well, I think a lot of times there are players that are gamers that maybe don't look as good in practice settings as they do in game settings. And there's also times where the games feel so much different in practice from a stress and pressure standpoint that you don't actually look the same. I think Joe is a little bit of both, to be honest with you. I think he's more than capable of doing more than what we've seen him do so far consistently in practice, because I think one thing he's, he gets tied up because he's thinking too much and trying too hard in many ways. But I also think there's something in him that he's seen enough success that when being in that moment, we can get something out of him that maybe his past experiences make him feel, I've been there, I've done it too. So I don't know how you evaluate it. I don't believe that Joe's been consistently as good in practice as what he was in the game the other day. And there's old adage, you play like you practice, and I'm not sure that's always true. But you can just see since Tuesday, he's got a different pep in his step. I think he feels like he's a contributor, and it's much harder for guys to stay positive and upbeat and stay confident. That's probably the best word, if they don't feel like they're contributing to the success of your team. But right now he believes he is, which he is. And so I think that gives us a chance to have a different Joe.
What did you see from your defense the other night?
I thought it was actually, they didn't score at the rim a lot. They made 3 threes in a row midway through the second half where they kind of tried to make a little run, and I didn't think we defended those well. But other than guarding long twos, thought it was pretty darn good. And long twos is something that, unless his name's Brockington shooting them, long twos is usually something you can live with. So I thought that we kept their bigs away from the basket for the most part, and we rebounded the ball well above average, and I thought our defense was pretty good. It can always be better, but I thought pretty good, and I thought our activity level with our hands was the best it's been all year.
A guy like Joe, very well traveled. What has he brought to that team this year in terms of as a playmaker and a scorer?
Well, I don't know about well traveled. He's been to 2 schools, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right?
Well, I guess anymore.
But he's a stud. We recruit him hard. There was a group of about 2 or 3 guys that we recruited hard, and of course happy with the one we got. But Akinjo made his decision well before Remy did. So we were recruiting him actively till the very end. He's fast, he can shoot, and to be real honest with you, he's a bulldog, he's a pit bull, he's tough, and so those are all great attributes. And when you lose a player players like Mitchell and Butler, even more so than Teague, you lose guys that you don't have to run an offense for them to get a good shot. They can just force help and get their own, or creates for somebody else just by their own skill set and speed. And Akinjo is somebody that has stepped in and done that very, very well. So they're not playing a lot different than they have in the past, in my opinion, at least offensively, in large part because those little guards are capable of doing similar things than those little guards did last year. Health-wise, he's not out of protocol yet. He's still having a few symptoms. So we hope we get him back tomorrow or the next day or whenever it is. But as of today, he's still in protocol.
Any update on Remy?
No. We said we were going to give him an extended time, and so that time obviously hasn't come to be yet. So I don't know what the time is on the Jesse. I would rather get a Remy at 90% or 95% than a Remy at 60 or 65% many games, as opposed to 90% at less games. So we hope we can get to 100, but everything and all the tests remain consistent with what the doctors have felt all along. He's got a bruise, and it is sore, and he is making positive progress.
Can he shoot around at practice or do anything?
Well, he can. I guess he can. He doesn't really do that. I don't have him go to the other end, just shoot on his own. But he's not part of practice at all right now. most of the time during practice, he's probably in rehab as much as anything else.
Then we got Zach. What's his update?
Zach is he's still no go. We think he's getting closer, but even though it's a crack or whatever it was, it's still a fracture and 4 to 6 weeks for it to heal. And I think we're finishing 4th week. So he's right where we thought he would be. And he says he's real close to being out there full speed.
It sounds like even though faces are different, Baylor's similar, especially offensively. But was there a point in the last few years where you saw that kind of happen and they transitioned from that, what they were to kind of what they are now?
Well, they went from playing huge.
Yeah.
I mean, they've always played huge, and they recruited that because they played that big zone, and so in the last several, I don't know exactly how many years, they've been playing a lot more man. Their man's gotten great. If you look at their team last year, you same 2 big guys. You had Vital playing the 4, and now you got 2 freshmen playing the 4 that are both pros when their numbers actually called. And then you have Meyer, who can play the 3 or the 4. That was there last year as a 6-man, and could be a pro. And I believe he will be. I think he's got big time game. And then you have obviously Flagler, who played a huge role last year in a different role, and Cryer's kind of taken Flagler's role from last year, leading scorer off the bench, and then of course you have Akinjo. So, and I hope I didn't leave anybody out, but they've got in Bonner and other guys have filled in nicely, but they dealt with injuries, but they've got 8 guys. They probably have more depth this year than they had last year. They've got a really good team. And in defense of Baylor, and I can't say like us, because for the most part we've been whole. We've had situations where we haven't been whole all the time, but they've had some issues with injuries and stuff too. So when they get totally healthy, I mean, that's definitely a team that has a legitimate shot at winning the game.
Do you think that transition coincides with Vital? I mean, was he sort of that bridge to because of his versatility?
With Vital?
Yeah.
Well, I love Mark's game, but I saw him standing on the sidelines next to Kelsey. Shows you what a good athlete he is with the Chiefs now. On the game Sunday, but Mark was a great college basketball player. Kendall is a pro, and I Sochan. I don't know exactly. I don't want to mispronounce, but he's terrific. He's going to be a pro. They've got better prospects now than they had last year. Last year they played with seniors, and that makes a big difference.
Anything else? I had one of his best games. He's played well before, but he really stood out again in the previous game. Just talk about his improvement that you've seen.
On Juan?
Yes.
No, I thought he was great the other night. I think that may be the best game he's played since he's been here. He looked to score, and even though he doesn't shoot the ball from the perimeter all the time to score, he's a great layup shooter and a great little floater shooter. But his hands were active, and he looked athletic. The play he made where he picked the guy on the elbow and deflected it to himself and then outran Condit down the floor in 2 bounces. I don't know if you guys picked it up, 2 bounces. That was a big time athletic play. So I thought he played well. The one thing I will tell you, he doesn't need to be playing 38 minutes. So, I mean, he'll wear his butt out. So we got to get some other guys, and hopeful Joe, can obviously take some of that load off of it.
How would you describe Juan's shot? It's kind of a layup, hook shot. He's further from the rim. It seems pretty unique. Have you seen that before?
Well, I think when you're little, although if you guys saw that picture of he and CB standing against each other when they're like in 6th grade, he was 6 inches taller than Christian back then. But even though he's little, he's learned how to compensate to get off shots like that. That's what little guys do. They kind of figure out a way to get it off with the floater or whatever. And even though I don't think it's that unique, I think when you look at guys, Mario Chalmers had a great floater. great. And you look at guys with great floaters. He's one of the few guys that can shoot a floater at full extension like a jump shot. He jumps up like a jump shot and it becomes a floater. And I don't think everybody's capable of doing that.
23rd Street Brewery proudly presents the Bill Self Press Conference. 23rd Street Brewery is a full-service brew pub. Great food, great drinks, great fun. Dine-in, carry-out, or curbside pickup available. In Lawrence at the corner of Clinton Parkway and Castle Drive.